everyone, welcome to Things Lucy Reads. I'm Luce and this is a November Plan With Me Bujo video. It's incredibly late in terms of Bujo videos. December ones are starting to come out already, but I've just had so much stuff going on that I haven't been able to get this together and get it narrated and uploaded until now, so sorry for the wait. Hopefully it's worth it. My angle continues to be terrible. I'm working on it. I need to buy a new tripod so I can actually have my camera at a 90-degree angle and not whatever this is, because it's terrible. I hope that the audio is okay as well. I've got a problem with my earphone adapter, which I'm not really dealing with, but will deal with in the future. It keeps turning Siri on, even though I don't want to turn Siri on. But that's what I'm dealing with. I mean, it keeps pausing and skipping my music and doing that. So, definitely a wire problem, and I'm going to need to buy a new one at some point. Anyway, my colour scheme for this month was violet, pink, orange, and like a royal blue. And the purposes of this colour scheme was to invoke a sunset, because metaphorically November is the sunset of the year. It's all very deep and philosophical, and I think I succeeded for the most part. My headings this month are uniformly terrible and I'm so mad at myself about it, but don't really have the energy to like redo them or anything, so I'm just living with the imperfection. My calendar is exactly the same as the one that I did in my October video, except that the edges of the banners are rounded and they're in different colours, obviously. But I still am counting down to Star Wars, and I've done like an actual countdown spread for that as well. So I've labelled all of the important days. That's my ZipPay tracker, and in a minute on the right I'm about to draw an Afterpay tracker. This is some washi tape I bought specifically to do this spread this month, well, all of the spreads this month. It's called Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, which I'm just so pleased by. I had to re-stick it a bunch of times though, because it kept being too short. I used a piece I'd used on my like mock-up page and it was not the right length. And then of course the more you pull it up, the less sticky it gets. So I had to like put a strip of glue tape down underneath it so it would actually stay there. And then I've also got some blue Galaxy washi as well that I'm using on alternate pages to the sky one. My banners are in dark purple and all of my headings are in a gold gel pen. It's the Signo, I believe. Let me just pull it out of my pen cup and check. Yes, Uniball Signo. It's funny because this gold one is amazing, but I had a white one that just would not write over the top of anything, and I don't understand how that happened. I think maybe I just got a dud one because everyone is, it's either Sakura Jelly Rolls or it's the Uniball Signo, and I'm like, but my Uniball Signo was awful. But maybe I should get another one and try it out. We'll see. This video is also filmed out of order, so if the angle changes slightly, it's because I filmed it on a different day or like hours later. It was a bit all over the place, and half of this I actually filmed like literally a week later than the rest of it, because I just needed some extra information for a ReadAthon that I didn't have when I was doing this. But I made it work, and probably you wouldn't have noticed if I didn't tell you that. So this is my Afterpay tracker. Afterpay is like a take-home lay-by payment system. It exists in America now. There's also something called Klarna, which I think is the same kind of thing. You buy something and then you pay it off in 4 equal installments over a series of fortnights, and it just means that you don't have to have all of the money right then. It's amazing and also terrible, and I use it way more than I should. As you can see, I had 6 open bills with Afterpay. They're all paid now, but, well, actually no, that's a lie. They're not all paid now, but they're nearly paid. But it's been good. I've been doing all my Christmas shopping and it means I'm now fully prepared, so who's the real winner here? You can't see very well in this probably, but I've alternated pink and green, and some of the boxes are grey, and that just means that they don't have to be paid in November. It might be if I end up with spare money, but I don't need to have it paid, so I probably won't. I've done titles like that before, but I haven't usually done them like that, like drawing the thin lines and then the thick lines. I've usually just drawn the letters as normal and alternating the thickness as I go, but it didn't really come out very neatly. And to be honest, doing it this way hasn't come out very neatly either, but it was certainly easier to do it this way because I struggled getting the lines really thin with the brush tip of the pen, so maybe I'll continue doing like this and just get better with practice. This is my general TBR tracker. It's nearly always the same. I just list all of the books that I'm planning to read, and they are in order of thickness usually. Usually one square correlates to one chapter. If the book doesn't have chapters, then it's one square for every 10 pages. And that seems to work out okay. One of those books is actually an ebook, so one square is equivalent to every 15 minutes because the book is, I think, 4¼ hours. So that worked out really evenly as well. And then this is the page for all of the books that I've read, which again is basically the same, except I've given myself 2 lines for each book instead of just one, and I have a little star stamp that I haven't used for several months, probably literally a year now that I think about it, and I wanted to use it again, so I made this spread to facilitate that because it's pretty much like the width of 2 lines, so I had to have 2 lines to use it. And I've left myself space for 8 books, but haven't filled the whole page otherwise, so if I read more than 8 I will be fine. But honestly, it's the 17th and I've read like 2.5 books, so probably not going to need the extra space if I'm honest with you. This spread I've done slightly differently. Usually I take it all the way to the edge of the page, which is a total of 230 pages, but I either read radically less than that or I read like so much more. So what I've done with this one is I've capped it out at 200, and then I'm about to put some washi tape in the middle there, and it also leaves me a square to like write in if I read any more than 200, and it's easy to read. So I think I'm going to keep doing it that way because it just worked out better for me, and instead of writing a number for every like column, I've just done it for like every 50. Stats basically the same as well, except I've introduced a couple more. Sometimes I don't know if an author is queer or if they're white or not, so I've added in an option for like unknown in those cases, because in the past I've like assumed those things, and it doesn't always sit right with me because like sometimes you just genuinely don't know, and I don't like to assume that someone is straight because they genuinely may not be. So better to leave myself an option for that, I think. Book haul page, genuinely wow, I can't speak, and I'm not going to redo this because this video is 20 minutes long and I'm not going to narrate it again. This is the same generally every month as well, the book haul page. It doesn't change. It functions exactly the way I need it to, so I don't mess with it. And then this is my mail page, which takes me significantly less time now that I have this washi tape and I don't have to draw those stripes manually. I do not miss having ink all over my hands because of that, because I got more ink on my hands than the paper without fail. No matter how careful I was, it just went all over me. And this is the same as always as well, because it, as I said, functions exactly the way I need it to, and if it's not broken, don't fix it. Just leaving myself little notes there about what colour I'm going to use to actually fill in the information. It's alternating between pink and orange. And this is my sleep tracker. Again, basically the same as it always is. I have a fewer hours on this one than I usually do. In the last couple of months I was doing it so that I had like 20 hours of the day available, but there were so many that I just never slept in. So I cut it back down again. And again with the washi tape. And I couldn't get anything straight for shit this month, which isn't really that surprising, to be honest, because I'm gay as hell, but you know, it was annoying when I was trying to make this look good. Okay, I originally wanted that to say Habit Builder. I can't remember who it was that called it that in a video I was watching recently, but I thought that was so much better than Habit Tracker, so I wanted to use it, and then I ran out of room. That little semicircle graph is from a program that my dad made for me specifically for this. The first month that I did it like this, I drew it freehand and like measured out all the angles and everything, and then he coded a computer program that would do it for me, and honestly, it's been so amazing, and it's just really nice. And I haven't used it in a while, but he made it for me, so I wanted to use it again. Then I'm colouring in the middle of it to look like a sun, and then the colours go outward in a gradient, and they hopefully will look like a sunset. You'll see as I flip the page there that when I was doing that spread, I had actually already completed this, but because of editing magic, it looks like I haven't now. I wanted to transition away from using wall calendars and start using my journal more for day-to-day things, but then I found a Doctor Who calendar, so not next year, but maybe the year after. But having never done a weekly spread before, I didn't really know how much I was going to use it, and I didn't want to like do actual weekly spreads, so I did like fortnightly spreads, and this one has the extra 3 days on it as well. So instead of having 4 spreads for the month or 5, I've got 2, which probably would be a bit of a squish if I used it more for this than I do, but at the moment it's working out pretty well for me. I don't really do much with my life that I need a lot of space. It's mostly just on the weekend when I have a to-do list. Sometimes it gets bigger than the box that I've given myself. But you know, it's a learning curve, and maybe I'll be able to make it better for myself next month. So the next page is going to be exactly the same again. And then the top square on this one and also on the next spread is just like a little reminders one. So if I like need to buy petrol or I need to cancel a subscription or anything like that, I write it in there so I'm looking at it all the time. So in case you hadn't figured out, there's 15 day squares and a reminder square for both of these pages, this spread and the next one. But I drew them a little differently because I wasn't sure which one I was going to like better. I've got these like long, low boxes, and then the next ones are very narrow, but they're long. I should say these are wide and short, and the other ones are long and narrow. And I also numbered them slightly differently as well. You can see on the first page there, it's gone from the first, and then the next line is the second and the third. On the next page, I don't number it in this video, but I've gone all the way along. So the first line is the 1st to the 7th, and it goes across the double page spread because I wasn't sure which one was going to work best for me. And I actually was going to try out the first spread before I even numbered this one, and then halfway through the first week I decided I was just going to do this one differently and then see which one worked out better for me at the end. I think I actually do like having the long boxes like I'm doing right now because I just have more room for my to-do list. I can squeeze it into a shorter space so everything is on one line, but in the other one don't always have room to do like 2 columns. So ultimately I think this will be better for me. And same thing again, violet banners with gold writing. Not that I do all of the writing in this one because I couldn't make up my mind while I was doing this how I wanted to do it. And because I know that these are like fortnightly spreads, I didn't like title these pages, I just stuck some washi tape at the top. I know what it's for, I'm the only one looking at my journal, you know. And also just so many of my titles were so awful, and the worst one is still coming up, that I just didn't want to take the risk, you know. I feel like this video is very long. Like I've already sped up this footage like 8 times and it still seems really, really slow to me and really, really long. And I've done a few extra things in my journal that I usually don't do, but it just feels like so much. Hopefully you like it anyway. I find these videos very calming, so I'm probably not the only one. All of my supplies will be linked down below, like as well as I can. I'm not sponsored by any of these companies, I just use their stuff. Okay, so this page is actually like earlier in the book than those spreads, but I just did it last and then just left it last. This title is so bad. The spacing is so messed up, and I was so annoyed at myself for this, but it actually doesn't look that bad, all things considered. So this is a readathon I'm doing with one of my friends from Instagram, and every single like place has a prompt attached to it, so you read a book for that prompt, and then it's like you visited that place. We did it, well, they did it last year, and I like participated in it with the same kind of theme, obviously, but this year it's a little more specialized and a little more specific in the places that are being used, and I'm not doing too great with it, but it's fun, and that's the main thing. So I copied this from my spread. Each like place and prompt has a little box, and then I have room, if I read more than one book for each prompt, I can write it in anyway. And it's the same boxes I've been doing for 2 months with the corners open, which keeps everything nice and contained, but I don't feel like I'm literally boxing myself in. This is the worst title, this bit here, undoubtedly. It's so bad that I actually got up to go and get some spare dotted paper and fixed it, because it was just so awful and I hated looking at it. But it looks better now. I'm going to do, I think it's called After the Pen, at the end of the month when I filled this all out, because some things are different and I just wanted you to see how it all looks once I've actually like made my mind up about a few things that I was still in the air about while filming this, and just how it looks with the colours and everything, and hopefully it will look like a sunset. And I've already decided I'm going to mirror that theme by doing like a sunrise one in January, which will be like red, orange, yellow, and maybe pink, or maybe light blue, to evoke a sunrise, because it's January, it's the sunrise of the year. Now I'm just writing in all of the like actual prompts for each place. Each box has the name of the place at the top and then the corresponding prompt written just underneath it. I will put links to some posts with information about this readathon if you want to join in. The month's half over, but you're more than welcome to join. And we're having a fun time. Okay, so this is my final flip through. That's November at a glance, my finance trackers, my to be read and read pages, same as always. Pages per day and stats, same as always again. The readathon spread. And then the book haul and mail spread, same as always again. I'm a creature of habit. Sleep and then habits. And then my 2 fortnightly-ish tracking spreads. Alrighty, so that's all I have for this month and this video. If you liked it, please feel free to leave me a comment.